Did you know that over 100 Star Wars games have been released since the late 1970s? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 197. My name's Gareth Pride. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. Darren Edwards. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, good afternoon, I guess, because it's still nice and bright outside here. But yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Our virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
I'm very well, thank you, Gareth. And like Darren says, I'm looking out of my office window, and it is lovely and bright out there. So good afternoon to you, gentlemen.
Oh, good. So today's podcast, we're going to be doing all sorts of things. We're going to talk about the games we've been playing. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about an event I went to. Paul's going to be giving us an expert view on the new Destiny trailer.
I will be shamelessly giving you the opinions of my 13-year-old son who watched the video with me.
Good, there you go. We're good 25 minutes on that.
Yeah, no problem at all. Maybe 23 minutes of filler, but it'll be all right.
And lots more. Gentlemen, you had a good week. Darren, what have you been doing?
I'm just glad Paul's got some natural light in his cupboard. That's good to hear. I've not had a bad week, so it's been work heavy, but we started watching, continued watching one thing. So X-Men 97's on Disney Plus. So I'm not sure if either of you are aware, but it's a continuation of the animated series that was on in the 90s. It's like proper height of kids' TV. And it's done in exactly the same style. I believe it's a lot of the same creative team are working on it, and it picks up as if it was like the next season in that series. It's really, really good. I think it's just hit its halfway point this week, and it's kind of put my it's everything Marvel should be, really. It's kind of put my faith back into it a bit. So really enjoying that. And then we've just started Star Trek Discovery, which is I think it's the first Star Trek, like new Star Trek series since the old ones, and it was on Netflix, but it's found its way to Paramount, I think, now, and it's the last one that they're doing, so it's had a double parter to kick off, so really enjoying that as well. So yeah, it's not been too bad, to be fair, this week.
That's good. What about you, Paul? What have you been doing?
I have actually been watching some television. You'll probably be shocked to hear. But before I do that, I just want to pick up on mine and Dobbo's travel anecdote section that we started last week.
There wasn't agreed, this travel section. It's not agreed by the team. But yeah, carry on. Unauthorized travel section.
There's no I in team, Gary. So yeah, basically, I was coming back from High Wycombe yesterday, doing 70 miles an hour in the outside lane of the M40. And the car in front of me suddenly violently swerved. And I thought, what the flipping heck's going on here? And when he got out, so I had to swerve to avoid him. And the obstruction was a mother duck and 7 little ducklings trying to cross the M40, which was entertaining. We missed them. I have no idea if they got flattened by the car behind. But yeah, so that was exciting. That got the old adrenaline going, believe it or not.
Good.
But speaking about television now, as I am wont to do on occasion, what I have been watching is a couple of live-action anime conversions. So the first one was they're both on Netflix, actually. The first one we watched was Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I'm sure you're all aware of because it's very famous. And that was very good. I enjoyed that a lot, more than I thought I would, because obviously I'd only played the video games before and they were a bit pants. But the live action bit is really good. So that's one recommendation from me. And the other one was a conversion of an anime called Yu Yu Hakusho. And it's about a fella who dies, a young school kid who dies, and he's sent back to Earth to become a spirit detective, and he has to hunt down demons that have taken over people And yeah, it's really, really good. We watched that, and that was a lot of fun.
Good.
So there you go. Two anime television recommendations from me this week.
And did you watch them with your boys, or was it a family? Did you watch it?
Yeah, we did. We did watch them with the boy. Yes, the wife wasn't interested, but me and the boy thought they were great.
Okay, good. Good. Netflix has had a little bit of a resurgence now for me. It had, for a while I saw a lot of bad stuff on Netflix, and I was only watching documentaries. But now I'm really into it again. They've come up with some really good stuff. So I watched Scoop, which was a film made by Netflix, and it's based on the whole process written from the booker who booked basically the Prince Andrew famous interview a couple of years ago.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Yeah, and so it's from the book who's played by Billy Piper, and we sort of see the interview again, and it's not good. When Prince Andrew thought he was maybe getting away with stuff, it's not a good thing. No, so it's my favourite bit about it. I think it's a good. Have you seen it, Darren?
Yeah, we watched it as well.
It's good, isn't it? Exactly. It's good. It's not groundbreaking, but it's good. My favourite bit into it, as we know, not any spoilers because we know what happened with the interview, my favourite bit is that when the interview finishes, I think Andrew's quite pleased with it, and it's the look on all their faces just by their eyes as they're trying to get out, going, "What have we got here? What have we got?" It's amazing. They do it really well. So that was one thing, and the other thing I'm watching is a thing called Ripley. And it's based on the very talented Mr. Ripley books. And there was a film in the 90s with Matt Damon, who played Ripley, with Jude Law, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Who's the woman who's always... I forgot her name. Gwyneth Paltrow.
You're have to narrow it down.
I was going to say something rude then. Gwyneth Paltrow. She did it. And it's Andrew Scott's playing Ripley in this. He's the kind of... the name, but it's sort of amazingly. It tells the same story as that film, but it does it over 10 episodes. It's filmed in monochrome, in black and white, so it's just amazingly shot. It's just like it can be quite slow, but it's slow in a really, really great way, really, really compelling. It tells the story of this person, basically, who's like an imposter. So if people have watched Saltburn, some of that has a similar. That's where a lot of people say it comes from, the kind of Ripley character, who basically someone comes into, like a con person who comes into people's lives and takes over and impersonates, and yeah. So it's that. It's really good. I really recommend it, but it's in black and white. A lot of it's set in Italy, but it's great, really good. There we go.
You disappointed me there, I have to say, Gareth.
Why?
When you said it was something called Ripley, I was hoping it was going to be like a spin-off from Alien or something.
I knew you would. Yeah.
I'm not interested in black and white, silly people. Let's have a story with featuring Ripley from Aliens.
Yes, that's right.
That'd be much better.
You'll get that in August because the new Alien film's out in August, isn't it? And it's set between Alien and Aliens, so high hopes for that.
Does it have Ripley in there?
Well, rumours there may be some sort of cameo, but given how old she is in the timeline, it might be heavily edited, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And never mind all that, is the cat back?
Jones, who knows?
Yeah, hopefully. We need Jones the cat, don't we? So it's not Aliens without that. Anyway, sorry, Gareth.
No, it's good. It's good. Games we've been playing. Let's talk about games we've been playing. Oh my God, I'm looking at the list. Let's start with Darren. Darren, what have we got?
So my first game this week is returning from last week. Paul's favourite, Turbo Golf Racing, is back. You'll be glad to know, Paul. Yeah. Deja vu. So it's been released in its full form. I played it probably a couple of years ago when it was in game preview. And I believe it's on Game Pass as well. So there's a couple of main ways to play. The first way is it's like a traditional race, but instead of reaching the finish line first, you've all got novelty oversized golf balls, and you have to put it so you're almost miniaturized playing on a huge golf course, and it's the first to sink the ball wins. So I think it's really good fun. It's a bit like Mario Kart in the way that you've got different power-ups and stuff as well, so you can shoot missiles at your opponents, or you can get buffs such as make the ball really sticky so you can direct it with precision rather than it bouncing around everywhere, get boosts, all sorts of different things. So it's just short, sharp bursts of fun. And then the other mode you can play is a more traditional golf mode where you all take it in turns to essentially take shots and try and sink the ball according to the par of the hole, if you like. So I really enjoyed it. I know Paul helped me, Richard and Neil, I think, when we played it last year.
I think didn't James play as well?
Oh yeah, I think he did actually. Yeah, I think everybody loved it and had a great time, which was good.
Except
no further comments are needed. Thank you. And that is out now, and my review will be live very, very shortly. I just need to finish writing it. But no, if you like some online multiplayer, kill an hour or two. It's really good fun.
Oh, took it down. Thank you. We're going to just say to everyone in the audience that we apologise for we're having some mic problems. Darren's having some hissing. You might hear it's not so bad. And Paul's basically in a cupboard under the sea. So
just call me Dobby.
But normal great quality audio will be resumed next week.
Hang on a minute. Are you allowed to say that under the trade description?
Yeah, I don't think I am. Good. Paul, what is your game? What's your first one?
My first game this week is a little East Asia soft shoot 'em up called Flight Path Adventures in Venaris. And it does the usual kind of things you expect from an East Asia soft game. It's quite anime looking. It's quite simple, quite straightforward, but it's got a little bit of something about it. As you go through the levels, you collect currency, and then in between the levels and even halfway through the levels, you can visit a shop and upgrade your ship. Now, everything's based on the size of the generator that you have in your ship. That tells you how many weapons you can have and how strong your shield can be. So as you get more money, you buy better generators. You can have more weapons firing at once. And after a little while, when you've been spending your pennies, your ship just basically sits in the middle of the screen and annihilates anything that dares show its face. It's really quite fun. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. So keep your eye out for an upcoming review. I mean, it's short, it's simple, it's straightforward, but it's fun. It just shows that games don't always have to be complicated or have stupid cars with stupid golf balls in to be enjoyable.
There we go. Now, what I really like about this is Paul's mic is gradually getting worse as we go along. So we're going to keep going. I've
come out of my cupboard because you were moaning about the echo.
Get back in the cupboard. Get back in that cupboard.
In my cupboard.
Unbelievable.
Right,
it's clicking
I'm strolling
now.
Back to my cupboard.
Oh my God, that's what he was doing. He was having a walkabout.
Right, I'm in the cupboard again now.
That's better. Don't move around. Bloody hell. We can hear the clicking. Paul's having a little walk around. He's doing office meets.
Listen,
meet and
we're
greets.
just here to make your life interesting.
Oh, sorry.
We'll see how good your editing skills are.
It's a lovely for everyone there. Let me talk. If I get you two not to talk, this might be the key to
this
the podcast.
will be the most boring podcast ever.
No, don't feel like you can't talk. It's good. Let's talk about what I've been playing. Oh, I've got Loretta. Loretta is a game. Loretta is a game. It's a 2D narrative adventure game, and it's basically a film noir. And what I mean by film noir, in case people don't know, film noir is types of films that were made in the 1940s and 50s. That were generally kind of black and white, but they were talked about film noir because of their very dark subject matters. They were very criminal stories, or it was kind of murders, or it was private detective stories. Lots of kind of double crossing, lots of people, femme fatales and everything else. It has that influence. So this game is set in 1947. You play the main character, Loretta. Her and her husband are author. They live on this farm in the sort of rural America. I've said the husband is a writer. And at the start of the game, a private detective arrives to Loretta and asks where her husband is. She says he's left, or she doesn't know where he is. And then very soon it's revealed that she's killed him. And then it goes back and across time to find out exactly what's happened there. and this kind of mystery starts to unravel. And what the writing and the story is absolutely brilliant. It's a mixture of, like I said, film noir. At some point, it feels like The Shining. So it has a very light sort of supernatural feel to it. Much like when you saw The Shining had that kind of thing. No explanation of why things are happening. There's even a very good Easter egg, if you read carefully, to The Shining in there. It's brilliantly edited. It has these kind of bits of gameplay that has pauses when you're doing these kind of gameplay mechanics, which kind of almost puzzles. You're trying to sort out Loretta's mind and kind of form these memories together by, like they'll fit in a puzzle together. And at one point, you're doing a Rorschach test where you're kind of looking at ink blots and trying to work out what they mean to you. There's many different outcomes to the game already. It's maybe about 4 hours long if you do a playthrough, but literally you make choices and it will have a completely different story. Sound is amazing, and visuals are just like brilliant, using pixel kind of art for the 2D stuff, but has these kind of great animated comic book scenes as well with it. I loved it so much. I've given it my first 5 out of 5 for a long time. I don't give them out very often. Yeah, and especially for an indie game, it's like wow. Yeah, so it's I really loved it. I really think it's brilliant. I think it's out today on the 11th, and it's only about 10, 11 quid. But if you like narratives and you like story, you have a great time with this. If, like some people in the room, are not that fond of that in their games, gameplay-wise,
talking about you, Darren.
Gameplay-wise,
I love a story.
It's quite simple. The narrative, it's puzzle adventure, almost like a point and clicker in a sense. But yeah, I really loved it. There you go, Loretta.
Did you like it so much because it reminded you of when you were a middle-aged man back in the 1940s?
As a writer, yeah, and then being murdered by my wife. I did, yeah.
Excellent.
Brought back good memories.
That does sound quite good, though, honestly, Gareth, without being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really good. I mean, for a small team of developers, 6 or 7, they've made this kind of this great indie. The Xbox is really exciting on the Xbox at the moment. I find some really kind of gems. We're very lucky because we get to review these kind of games we not necessarily would look at or buy, maybe. Yeah, good. Let's go to our second game. Darren, what have we got?
Here goes. My second game is Freedom Planet 2, which is a fast-paced platformer, very, very similar to Sonic in terms of its presentation and how it plays. It's all about dashing through the levels as quickly as possible. But the difference with this is you can play either any of 4 different characters, and they've all got certain attributes. So one's billed as a brawler, so you kind of punch and kick your way through the enemies more than trying to dodge them or be agile. But they're very similar to the enemies. They're kind of robotic enemies, so a bit like in Sonic again. A lot of the animations are quite similar as well. But then what's different again is you go from level to level in a sort of hub world map mode, and then it's not just a string of levels that are split into acts. You go to hub worlds and you can buy different items to buff you and help you and as you play through. So I've only played a couple of hours, but there's quite a few levels. I think there's over 20 in total. So it's quite a I dare say the word lengthy with Paul on the podcast, but it's a lengthy.
It's surprisingly lengthy.
It's surprisingly lengthy for a platformer that feels like it's come out the 90s. I won't lie.
Dear.
I'm gonna have to use that once a week at least. So I'm still to put my full thoughts together, but it's similar, but it's not a total clone. It is trying to do different things as well. And there was a first one which I've never played, so I couldn't tell you what it's done differently to the first one. But yeah, if you're after a platformer, then you could do worse than Freedom Planet 2. I'm quite enjoying it so far.
Good. Yeah. Any questions for Paul?
No. I'm just looking forward to Darren slipping surprisingly lengthy into conversation at least once a week.
Good.
We're dicing with death here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God no one can hear you because of your mics. Right. No. Let's go on to Paul's next one.
Right, well, being at the cutting edge of gaming as I am, the game that I've been playing this week is Resident Evil Village. Now, I never played it when it came out. I just never got round to it. and the complete edition with all the DLC and everything is on sale at the moment. So I think it was about 16 quid for the full lot. So I thought, well, we'll give it a try. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? And I'm really enjoying it. One of the things that the update and the DLC has done is add a third-person mode. So I'm actually playing it in third-person mode like Resident Evil should be played. So, yeah, I'm quite enjoying that. The big lady is still quite scary. So I've just managed to get past her. So I don't know how far I am in the game, but I'm enjoying it a lot. It's quite, with the third-person view, it's a lot like a proper old-school Resident Evil. So, yeah, if you've never played Resident Evil Village, give it a try.
You've got a long way to go yet, Paul. A long way to go. You're about
Excellent.
a third of the way, maybe, or even less.
Well, that's good.
Darren, you've played it, haven't you? Of course you have. Have you?
Yeah, I liked 7 and 8. I must admit, I don't think I finished 8 though. I don't know why. I know. I did like 7 and 8, but I did kind of think, I kind of wanted to go back to the characters I know and love. But obviously, as time moves on, they're getting older and older. But they are good games in their own right. It's unfair because I keep comparing them to the original series. They are part of the original series, but games 1 to 4 for me, that was peak Resident Evil.
Okay, like Paul said,
I was a bit surprised at the start when Chris Redfield turned up.
Spoilers.
Absolutely. Well, if you're having spoilers for a 5-year-old game, then you need to have a long hard look in the mirror. But I was a bit shocked, but I thought, who's that fella? And then he went, "What are you doing here, Chris?" And then he did something very nice.
That was uncanny. That was an uncanny impression.
I've been studying your craft, Gary.
It is, I could tell. It's I've got a friend of mine. I mean, it's interesting you said about third person, because I play it in first person and third person. I've got a friend at the moment who's got it on VR, and he says that's the only way to play. He just says it's kind of amazing on VR, that experience. So, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed myself with Resident Evil 8. Do you reckon we're going to get another Resident Evil this year? They sort of churn them out. When's it been? 3 years ago, Resident Evil 8?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe
we've had 4 just recently, haven't we, as well? Yeah. Remake of 4. So hopefully there'll be a new one.
Yeah, it'd be great to see
why? 5's the worst.
I say that. I don't like. Well, 6.
Well, 6 is the worst.
But 5 isn't great. I don't think. But people seem to like it, so they're just going through the back catalogue, I think. And I want Code Veronica. That's what I want to be remade.
Yeah,
you love that game.
Never go back, Darren. Never go back.
There's no choice these days.
Well, no, the chances of getting a new one are quite slim, aren't they? But yeah, I think Code Veronica would be quite good.
Yeah. Good. What's one else? Oh, this is kind of interesting. I got up really early this morning, maybe at 5:30 for some ridiculous reason, and I did some emails.
Did you wet the bed?
I might have wet the bed, yeah. And I got up and I went, we're going to talk about tonight. What were you playing? Looked at what you two have written down. Thought, God, these are terrible. And I didn't really. It's fine. And I thought, I had a look on Game Pass, and I had a look at Botany Manor, which came to Game Pass last week. I think Dave might be reviewing it for us. And I thought, I'll give this a go for 20 minutes, see if there's anything in this. And then 2.5 hours later, before 9 o'clock, I'd sort of finished it. And it's really good. So the idea is it's set in kind of like late 19th century in this big house. You're a sort of like a lady of this house who's a kind of how do you say it? Flower person. Can't say it. What's the word?
Horticulturist.
Thank you. And you explore the house, and you have this book of kind of rare flowers, and you've basically got to get the ingredients to make these flowers. But it's much more interesting than that, because you get the seeds and stuff. But you say if you get a seed for a flower, but it needs a certain humidity to bloom, and when it blooms, that's a kind of like that's completed. So, for example, right at the start, you get a flower, you plant the seed in, and then you find the perfect temperature, and that humidity makes it bloom. Later on, you have to go through about 8 different weird steps to get a place to a flower to bloom. Like you have to cook one of the seeds under a stove so it can open, then take it to a smokehouse, get the smokehouse, use a certain type of wood to smoke it. That's the only way it will bloom. So you find these kind of clues and instructions as you explore the house, and it's really good. It's really kind of like a really relaxing. The story's nice. There's kind of lots of secrets and hidden bits, and it's just a really clever bit of kind of like a puzzle adventure, which is really enjoyable, and it's free on Game Pass. So give it a go. It's a good month this month for Game Pass, these little kind of gems. So yeah, give it a go. Really enjoying it. I mean, a really good game. So none of you two are going to play this. So Darren might.
No, I'm not convinced by that
It
one.
sounds
to be honest,
right up your alley, Paul.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, maybe not.
Yeah, there you go then.
Yeah.
Let's not be silly.
Yeah. No, really good though. Let's see what Dave says about it in a week's time. Let's go on to news. What's been going on? Let's start with I think probably the biggest story of the week, maybe the second big one. Star Wars. So Ubisoft came out with a story trailer for Star Wars Outlaws. That kind of gave us very kind of hints and secrets about this kind of world that we saw a bit earlier from the game thing. And we've got a release date and the pre-orders and all that stuff. So the release date is August the 30th. Have I made that up? I think I might have made that up.
No, you're right.
Well, August 30th. That's coming out then, and it's got all its pre-orders, and there's been some controversy about that, which we'll talk about in a minute. Did you two get to see the story trailer, Darren? Did you have a look?
I did. I want to see more gameplay, but as a story trailer goes, I thought it was good. I've liked the look of this one since it was first announced, to be fair, despite the Ubisoft caveat. Sorry, Ubisoft. So I am still optimistic it's on track to be a really good Star Wars game. So fingers crossed it turns out like that.
Paul, what did you think?
I think I may have missed it. So, yeah, I did most of my homework. I must admit, I spent most of my time doing homework about Destiny. So, to be honest, Star Wars isn't really that. I don't really care, to be honest.
This Destiny bit better be good. That's all I'm saying.
This Destiny bit.
Oh, my God. Paul,
is your microphone going to hold out, Paul?
I don't know if it can.
No. I don't think it will. You've sent me back in the cupboard now. All bets off.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Paul hasn't seen our thing. So what's kind of exciting for Star Wars fan? I think this game we've got a little a thing of Han Solo. It's a step between. I think it's the period between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Is that right? It's in that kind of timeline.
So yeah, towards the end of the original trilogy.
Yeah. So we see Han Solo in the thing, don't we? In the Frozen bit.
It is. It's not Kryptonite. That's it.
Yeah, so it's in between the two.
I didn't even watch it, and I know.
You know Star Wars, Paul. You're a secret Star Wars fan.
I'm not a secret Star Wars fan. No, I don't mind Star Wars, to be honest. But yeah, it's a bit wet, isn't it?
There you go. It's a bit wet. Star Wars. That's the whole Star Wars. Damned.
Not enough blood and guts and stuff.
Paul slammed Star Wars. It's a bit wet.
All the analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was good. I mean, like I think Darren, I think the gameplay stuff we saw, I think in the last summer, wasn't it, when it got announced? Or maybe it was the summer before. That was great. I was seeing that made by the Division people from the Ubisoft gang, and it was like seeing that sort of like shooty stuff, like getting on a bit of transport, and then you're seeing him leave the planet as well. That was kind of really, that's quite exciting about. The whole thing going from somewhere on the planet to moving across it and then leaving the planet. That got everyone a bit excited. So hopefully we'll definitely probably see some more. Do you know why I'm really excited though?
Go on.
Because they've released this story trailer now and they've given it a date in August. That means they've got something else. October, November, December time.
Oh, what do you think?
And I think that must be the new Assassin's Creed big game.
Oh, maybe.
This is my feeling. This is my thought process here. Because I think they would have waited for this for the June and big events, and their own one.
Mm.
So they must have. I think we're getting Assassin's Creed. Or maybe we're getting Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, don't tease me with that. Another game, Ubisoft buggers for it, because another game that is supposed to be in development is the Prince of Persia remake, Sands of Time, and they're remaking Splinter Cell. But news has been so quiet, and I know you shouldn't go back, but I adore Splinter Cell and Prince of Persia, so maybe it could be one of them instead. I don't know.
No,
Do you think
no? I don't think so. I think they need a biggie. I think Assassin's Creed is their big money spinner, isn't it? And obviously because they've said their program of events. They've laid out what Assassin's Creed games are coming. About 3 years ago, I think. So we know what the next ones are. So
as long as they don't let you down and it's a mobile game for December or something.
Jesus, that'd be awful. Yeah, I definitely think there's another one come from them, whatever that might be. But that's exciting for Star Wars fans and Ubisoft fans. So that's coming in August. So it's another big game for August. A couple of big games in August, isn't there? There's what's the Souls-like one from the China developers? That's coming out in August.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Paul, can you remember?
No, I can't remember the name of it.
It wasn't on the list.
We all know it, don't we?
So we do. We know the one you're on about.
Yeah. There we go. So that's coming out on the 30th of August.
That, Gareth.
Yes,
sorry.
Yeah.
The controversy, though, is you need an internet connection to install it, which has got people a little bit riled. So apparently, I've seen a few tweets of people getting angry, as they do on the internet. There's a screen of pre-order now, and then next to a screen of internet required to install, and just why would Ubisoft do this? So we'll see how that goes down.
I mean, not wanting to be on anybody's chips or anything, but to download a game, you need to be installed. You need to be connected to the internet.
Yeah, but then to play it as well.
Speaking in IT, it doesn't say to play; it says to install, and that's perfectly fine.
Okay, well,
because you have to connect to the internet to download the game.
You do, but would it specify it on the case?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
Well, it also, if you haven't got with games now, I know it's an interesting thing, because if you're saying you haven't got the internet now with the Xbox, how would you do with games that has updates? What happens to those games? So if you've got a massive update that we get now every 2 seconds for a game, how does that work if you've not got internet and you're playing, I don't know, Starfield or something?
Let's get down to Starbucks and jump on their internet to update it. That's a good question. I don't know.
Walk in with your Xbox on your arm. Do you mind if I just plug this in? Yeah.
Some of the people I've seen, they take up all the plugs. They might as well set up all of their kitchen in there.
Good.
I like that. And another big thing that's upset people is there's a special edition there for 130 quid.
That is asking a bit much, I think. Yeah.
Just don't buy
the special edition, though?
Don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you've got all the facts at your fingers.
Don't you start on me. You've done that.
Slagging this edition off.
You've done nothing except write down
solid gold R2D2.
All you've done this week is put the games I've been playing is Resident Evil 8. That's been your.
Listen, that's been your games I've been playing. Them are the games I've been playing.
Unbelievable.
What do you want me to do? Live?
And Flight Path, something you just made up. We don't. That's a real game.
Just make that up. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Pat Test Simulator. That's what I want to hear about all week.
I could talk to you about pat testing, mate. I've been down. That was what I was doing in High Wycombe. So if you want to go there,
let's move on to Paul's segment, and this better be good. It's Destiny news.
Hey.
Destiny have done a video here for their endless contributions to gaming. Paul, tell us about it. What is it?
It's the end, apparently, of the whole kind of story arc of Destiny 2 now. At the end of the last expansion, we saw the Witness, the big baddie, go into the Traveller, and now we're going to actually follow him in and try and sort him out. So it's supposed to drag all of the strings of the story together, and then, end up with a nice victory, hopefully, for the Guardians. But the thing that's quite exciting about it is the new stuff that they're bringing into it. Before, the subclasses in Destiny, you were fairly fixed with what you had. So what they're doing now is they're bringing in something called prismatic subclass, which allows you to mix and match certain aspects from certain other subclasses. So when you use it, you get a grenade that's got different abilities. So you'll have a grenade that's fire and ice, for instance, or solar and stasis, if you want to use the proper terminology. So watching the gameplay videos, they were quite exciting. They looked really, really good. My son was sat with me, and he plays Destiny 2 more than anything else. And he was just sat there, and the first thing he said, he looked at it and went, well, that's just broken the Crucible. So, because it just looks absolutely chaotic. There's bits of supers everywhere, and it looked really, really impressive. So yeah, basically that's coming out in June, and we've got to wait for that, obviously, to bring the story together. But what they've done in the meantime is they've released like a little mini expansion called Into the Light, and it's brought in a new game mode, which is like a horde mode. So that should be quite exciting. That's called Onslaught Activity. So basically you can just get your mates together and just plow your way through waves of enemies. They've also brought back some exotic weapon quests for the Whisper of the Worm and other ones. And just all in all, it looks like this expansion is going to be pretty groovy. But, reading the sort of headlines around it, apparently it has to be very successful. Otherwise, Sony can take over Bungie or something. I mean, I read this on Twitter, so take it with a large fistful of salt. But yeah, I'm cautiously excited to see what they bring into the table.
Good. Dan, what did you think of that segment? Was it worth the wait?
I think I understood about 25% of those words, but I'm glad that you're excited.
And me, but you know what? He did it with confidence, which I liked.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm nothing if not confident. Yeah. If you wanted to have the ins and outs and the absolutely minute details, you should have invited my son on.
Yes.
And he would have blown your minds.
Well, that was good, Paul. We didn't, like Darren said, I've played Destiny 2 and finished it, and I've got no idea what you were talking about, so that's great.
Thanks, mate.
That's good. Very good, Paul. Very, very good. Is this the end of Destiny 2? Do you think do you reckon we're going to get another Destiny? What do you think, Paul? What's your feeling?
My feeling is that they're going to milk Destiny as much as they can. So Destiny 3 would be such an undertaking, I think, that it's not going to be for years. Okay. So I imagine they'll keep pushing Destiny 2 as long as they can. Keep flogging the dead horse until bits fall off.
Haven't Bungie got another? It's not Bungie. Is it Bungie? Is it who's the makers of Destiny 2? It's
Bungie.
Bungie. Haven't they got another game? And they got Marathon or something?
Yes, they do.
Is that another big online game? Isn't it?
I have no idea.
I think is it a remake?
Never heard of it.
Yes, Paul, we talked about it.
I talk about a lot of things, guys.
Yeah, it's made by Bungie. It's we only saw a bit of it, didn't we? We don't know much about it. I think Bungie that was one of the first games they did in the 90s, so it's kind of an extension on that franchise. It's an FPS.
I am Googling it as we speak.
Yeah,
it looked good. You're right. It didn't give much away. It was a very stylized trailer, but it piqued my interest. Because I never played the original.
It's a PvP extraction shooter.
1994, the original was released.
Yeah, it's an extraction shooter. So
yeah,
bit of Counter-Strike then maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, we might hear a bit more about that.
What was that one that we played? I can't remember now. Wow. There was an extraction version of flipping out. What was it called? Rainbow Six Siege, was it?
Oh yeah.
I reviewed an optimized one. I think for that as well.
Yeah. So whether it's along those lines, I don't know. But
could well be.
Could be.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Paul.
The Marathon Trilogy, the new one that's upcoming. So there you go.
Good. We have talked about it before. This is going to get worse, this podcast, as we get older. We won't remember anything from last week.
Is it tea time yet?
I went to a little preview event for Tales of Gazira, which is coming out next week, I think, on the 18th. I don't know if you remember this from Summer Showcase. It's a Metrovania game, sort of 2.5D game where you're basically on this journey. It's all about kind of loss and loss of your father. So you go on this kind of epic journey across lands, but it has that kind of Metrovania thing of you see the whole map and then you can travel here. You might see something that you go, I can't get into that now. And then you'll go off platforming around and then you might get an extra skill and then you can go back and use that world or enter that extra bit. Very much a bit like the Prince of Persia Forgotten Sands game in January that came out. It has kind of very much that feel to it. And a very nice kind of presentation from the main person who basically came up with the idea. Who's an actor. He might have been in some things. I can't remember anything. But he set up the production company. It's a real personal journey for him about the loss of his father, and he kind of imagined it. And then we heard from the sort of developer, the game designer, and the sound is amazing. The sound composer. It's a really nice presentation. It's about half an hour long. Just heard from all four of those. They're all very passionate about the game, of course. Very excited about it. It looks really good. It looks really, a good challenging kind of that same as the Prince of Persia stuff. Really kind of excited to do different biodomes, and we'll find out a bit more about this on the 18th. That's next week. Interestingly enough, PlayStation have got this game as free if you've got your subscription for PlayStation. So that's, I don't know if it's going to come to Game Pass for free suddenly. No, that's interesting that they've got it. So we'll find out a bit more about that next week. But yeah, Tales of Gazira. Let's move on, you two.
Oh, let's.
Where are we going now?
Where we're going to go now? Let's just talk a little bit about Fallout 4 because, and we'll talk about the series as well. So the Fallout 4's got a long-awaited next-gen update. I don't know. It says long-awaited in this article. I wasn't long-awaited. I didn't know this was happening. But yeah,
I don't think anyone was. No, it's nice that it's getting on.
Yeah,
I think Fallout 5 is longer-awaited, not Fallout 4.
Yeah. So Fallout is getting a next-gen update. It's coming out on the 25th of April for Series X, PlayStation 5, and you can play up to 60 frames per second, increased resolution, performance mode and quality modes, as well as fixes and improvements. This is one of the first games that I think I reviewed for the Xbox Hub when it was just me, Neil, and James because no one else wanted to do it. Yeah, so God knows when that was. When was that? 2014, 15?
A long while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. But I think that Darren's going to talk about it a little bit. We're looking for, we haven't seen it yet, but the Fallout TV series, which is on Amazon Prime.
Which is on Animal Prime.
Animal Prime is it's getting some really good reviews, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing reviews. You haven't seen it yet, Darren?
No, it was going to be on my what I'm doing next segment, so we're going to give it a whirl tonight. But am I right in thinking they've released the whole lot at once?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah.
Given how successful The Last of Us was, and they did it week by week, I'm surprised that they've just dropped it all, but happy days.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's lots to watch at the moment. It's brilliant. So much
it's, sorry, Gary, it's
the
same person who directed Westworld, isn't it? Jonathan Nolan, who's at the helm for this as director. So that immediately got me excited because the first series or two series of Westworld I absolutely loved. So high hopes.
It's really interesting seeing some of the articles, about it and talking about with Todd Howard saying they've always, people have been trying to get them to do TV or movie adaptations of either Elder Scrolls or Fallout, and they've said no for a long time. And I think it was another thing when they were saying the makers were going to go, and I think we want to do this. He was going, no, you can't do that because I think we want to do that for Fallout 5.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting as well. But yeah, it's great. He said it's really good, high pedigree writers and creators on that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to that. Let's just move on a couple of other little bits and bobs that we need to talk about. EA are raising their monthly annual play subscription. I don't know how much do you, Darren?
Yes, I do. So it's going up to $5.99 from $4.99. So not a massive increase, or yearly, it goes up from $34.99 from $19.99. So I don't quite know if it makes sense just to stay on the monthly subscription, to be honest.
Yeah. I know, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? And how's that affect with the Game Pass? You get it within Game Pass, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because when you used to buy codes for Game Pass in terms of months of membership, if you bought an EA one, it would translate into so many months or so many days of Game Pass. So I think they closed all those loopholes. So I still don't quite understand the appeal of just having EA Play rather than having Game Pass Ultimate, unless I'm missing something. I just don't. I'm assuming you get more maybe if you just get it without Game Pass. I've no idea.
No. Well, there you go. Sad news for my shop that I used to go to sign Game, which is really sad. I mean, it's really sad for this thing. Is the Game staff are being told to expect redundancies. Most of the workers are moving to 0-hour contracts. It's going, isn't it?
It's on its way out. Yeah. It's not going to be going much longer. They've stopped doing trade-ins. They've stopped doing all sorts. You can't redeem your reward points anymore for anything. It's just.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Oh mate, there's a few near us. There's one at Chilwell, and there's one in Derby, and they've got two different computer systems. So if you go to the one at Chilwell, which is inside Sports Direct, obviously. Their system that they've got in there, they've got the new system. You can't scan your reward card, you can't use the points, you can barely do anything. You might be able to buy a game if you're lucky. So yeah, honestly, it's I can't see it going much longer.
It is a
and it's
shame.
going to be really sad because games that I've been going to game, well, probably since you were in short pants, Darren. So
well, I don't go as often as I do, and I guess we're all part of the problem, because I wax lyrical about physical media and stuff, but just naturally consume less of it and go more to digital, and it's a bit of an unstoppable juggernaut. And I've seen them try to diversify by filling the shop with cuddly toys and board games, and it is Lego, and it is owned by Mike Ashley, so they'll be very kind of cutthroat and business savvy to make money, because that's how he turns brands around when they snap them up as part of Fraser's group. So it does feel a bit like the sword of Damocles is hanging over, and it's really sad. But
yeah, I think it's all those staff were kind of like they were always great, the staff in places like that, keenly interested in what they're doing, what they like kind of games, and it's like I think they always seem to employ people as well who are kind of from younger. It seemed a good place. You could ask advice from people in the olden days of the game and stuff. So that is really sad. And like you said, it's just, I think it's been, the trading stuff is like, no one interested in doing that. That's why you went to game, to trade in. You're not buying something new from there. You're buying something new from online or Tesco's. Or Sainsbury's. So it's like
other supermarkets are available.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ryan worked there for a couple of years. Years ago.
What, in Tesco?
No, in game. While he was at uni, and he really enjoyed it, and he managed to get hold of a few things at launch and that. And it was certainly our store in Nottingham in the centre. It was full of people who would just happily talk about video games, which was really nice.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll see what happens. But
it's all going that way, though, isn't it? I mean, even the small independent ones are going now. I don't know if you remember, but right across from Game in Vicky Centre, there used to be a little independent game shop, didn't there? Do you remember?
I do. It was. I think it was called Granger Games, because there was a few of them.
Sure. Yeah.
There was one in Liverpool as well, I think. But
obviously, I mean that's the place to go for video games is Liverpool.
Centre of the world, Paul.
But yeah, it's just been sad that the shops that sell these things are they seem to be slowly suffocating. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's shops generally everywhere, isn't it? Shops, all over high streets and everything. I think we just look at where we're doing games. This is what's happened to developers. Our ways of consuming games are very different now. We just pay subscriptions to stuff. Game Pass, and I've got it on PlayStation as well. And I kind of now go, And of course, we review, so we get codes, don't we? But it's people just sort of go, I'll wait till it goes on Game Pass. And generally, things are coming quicker on Game Pass and on PlayStation, whatever the PlayStation thing's called. So, you know, you're losing a lot of kind of like customers from that as well, who are not going to game to even to trade in or to buy. So yeah, you can see it. You see what's happening. Very sad. We missed. Mm-hmm. But things move on. Let's go. Let's finish on an upbeat. What are we looking forward to next week?
Keep it light.
Keep it light. Darren, what are you looking forward to next week? Something light and fun.
Me, yeah. So we do have something to look forward to. The BBC Orchestra's touring a video game concert. So they're playing themes from Legend of Zelda and other titles. So they're coming to Nottingham next Thursday. So we're going along to see that. So looking forward to that.
Good. Very nice. What about you, Paul?
I don't know if you're aware, but they've made a Fallout TV series. So I think I might watch that.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
I might give that a go. Yeah.
Nice.
So I might watch that. But other than that, unfortunately, my week has just got work in it. So there you go. Yeah.
Whatever you do, we don't know, but it's something interesting.
It's a complete mystery. But I'll tell you what I don't do.
Yeah.
Don't deliver flat whites to people.
No, you don't. You don't. What am I going to do next week? I don't know. I'm working. I'm travelling around the country at the moment,
In the cafe.
which is fine. In the cafe, delivering coffees around the country. I'm in. Where am I next week? I might be in Manchester next week. I'm in Manchester for 2 days.
Well, on purpose.
Yeah. I'm in Luton for Tuesday. Yeah, I've got a mad week of travelling next week. And that would be that.
I can't believe you're going north of the wall.
I know. I'm taking precautions.
I think you should. Yeah, get your shot before you come.
Exactly. Right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Hope you could all hear those. Sorry about the mics, everyone, but we'll get back onto that. And until next time, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.